One thing unique about Teleport is like there's an open source element to it, right? And so how does like having an open source element to your business sort of impact like your sales and customer success motion? How do you sort of play with that open source community?
Oh, that is like an entire, half day conversation for us about like how this becomes really unique. The one thing that open source does give you is it does give you like a lot of, again, a community. It gives you like a lot of love. It also gives you, for us, we're really kind of, in the security space, there's nothing better than being able to just go show people like look, this isn't a black box. You can go see everything that's going on in there. Like you can audit it yourself. You can go through that entire process and be like really, and rest assured that, we've built a really strong product. So it does give you a lot of credibility and it does give you a lot of momentum. Actually, right now, I haven't checked in the last few months, but I have been told that Teleport is the security product with the most GitHub stars out there. So like, that's great. Like that shows like wide adoption, wide love. It helps you understand that, wow, there is like real pain that we're solving here if it's this widely adopted. On the other side, there is an additional hurdle that you need to jump, which is like making sure that the customer sees enough value in your enterprise solution or in your paid for solution that they can't get just with open source. And that's not only a sales or marketing problem, or it's not only up to the leaders there or the individuals there to solve. It is a company-wide process that you need to go through. Product and engineering are vital to that. Understanding why are people using this and what kind of people are using this, right? If there's a bunch of smaller companies or there's a bunch of people using it for, their network at home or for a side project, that's great. That's what it's there for. If you have a Fortune 500 using it and rolling it out to, 20,000 users, then you're like, hold on, like that was never really our intent. Our intent was never to have this be, rolled out in this way. So why is that possible? What should we do? Are we comfortable with that? Maybe we are, right? But like, how do we optimize this so that the customer gets value, so that the right targets are using that solution, and then the right folks are finding enough value in your enterprise product to kind of continue that journey. And it takes a lot of iteration.
Yeah, I imagine it must be very interesting to figure out, okay, what are those like product triggers between the open source side and the enterprise side that cause people to upgrade? And I'm sure there's a ton of experimentation that goes into that. I think one huge benefit I see of open source is you have like this defined pool to sort of fish from like a outbound sales perspective. Do you just like outbound to all the people who are doing things in GitHub? And is that kind of how the sales motion works? Or do you let people come to you? Like, how do you, I don't know, do that in a tasteful way? Because I'm sure if you're too salesy to the community, they might revolt back to you. So like, I don't know, how do you think about that?
Pretty conservative. I think I like where your head is at, and I'll have you talk to my engineering leadership about kind of being able to do that. But we don't collect any data from our open source community at all. It's really important for us to make sure, especially with the kind of product that we have no idea.
Yeah, I guess security too. Yeah.
And so I could see how like if we did have a product and we were collecting like all the information about who the companies are, it would be like, hey, we know exactly who to go after. So we have to use different kinds of data. We use third-party intent data. We use different things to kind of understand some of the organizations that may be leveraging it, or more importantly, that are in the market for a solution like it. So what we really do gain is a lot of developer love. We gain a lot of adoption. Our code base is probably stronger because of it, without a doubt. There are a lot of really large companies that say the fact that you are open source made us feel comfortable moving forward. So there are a lot of benefits. On the go-to-market side, it can be a double-edged sword. It can be you need to convince people that they need to move to the enterprise, and oftentimes, like with us, and I'm sure a lot of other companies out there, you actually don't know who's using it. But on the flip side of that, it's really nice to sometimes get on a call and say, hey, how did you hear about Teleport? And they'll be like, and they'll say something like, Oh, we've been running it for, we've been running Teleport for a year, and now we need some of the enterprise functionality. It's like we love the product. It's great. You guys have done a great job. Like now let's figure out how to scale this. And that's just fun. And you never get that if you don't have that before. At best, you have like freemium or like maybe extended trials, but people don't really productionalize a 14-day trial for sure, or a freemium product like they do something that's open source.
I also love what you said earlier about like the transparency in the code. And like, I imagine that just is so important when you're selling a security for people to go in there, pick it apart, and see actually what is behind the scenes, which is so different than any other SaaS product that's out there. And I'm sure all your competitors as well. So that's a very interesting dynamic I never thought about.
It is. We get some really interesting comments. So like, I've been really fortunate in the companies that I've worked with that like people really do love the platform, and people will come to us at trade shows, or something, and they'll come up and they're like, hey, I just wanted to say thank you. Like, you guys have built an amazing product, and we use it all the time and we think it's invaluable to us. And I just wanted to like shake your hand. And then you take credit as if you were the developer that was actually doing it. But you're like, no, like that, God, man, like, doesn't that pump you up? Like, don't you then want to turn around and be like, yeah, let's go, like, figure out how we can get this in the hands of more people because it's actually providing value. It's something that is really at the core, making a company more efficient and more secure. And as salespeople, if you're not highly motivated by the product or by the solution that you're selling, it's hard to bring your whole heart into it. Because and Alex, you know this, we've talked about it, we lose and fail way more than we win on a daily basis. Our emails and our like everything, we deal with losses all the time, and sometimes you deal with them for many days or many weeks in a row. In a large enterprise sale, you can deal with it for like a couple of quarters. You're just like losing and losing and losing. If you don't believe in what you have, that it is actually better for society or for the market, or that there is like someone out there that's really benefiting from what you're doing, it can be really hard to get through those dips in the in your cycles.